Hey up folks, take my cap off. We're back in the van. Hope everyone's doing alright in these crazy times. So in this video folks, we're going to discuss the top 10 things that we love about our Roller Team 590 T-Line motorhome. As with many YouTube creators, particularly those that have automotive related channels, we do love to have a top 5, top 10, top 15, and we thought, well, we need to do one for our motorhome. I did start to wonder earlier today, I wonder if every YouTube channel does a top 5, top 10, and I thought, what can I think of, what can I search that would be so obscure that maybe they haven't done a top 5 or top 10? And for whatever reason, I started looking at channels that review electric toasters. Can you believe it? And I believe I couldn't find any that did the top 5 things they love about their toaster. You could just imagine it now, couldn't you? They could be sitting there thinking, oh, I love how the toast is browned so nicely, or that reassuring sound as the toast pops out the toaster. Anyway, I have too much time on my hands. Let's discuss what we love about our motorhome. These aren't in any particular order, folks, but we do believe that these are the top 10 things that we found that we do love with our Roller Team motorhome. So we'll start with number 1 as I sit up. We'll start with the bathroom. Now, the reason we start with the bathroom is really important for us personally, because for those of you that's been following the channel for a while, you'll know that we had a VW Transporter T6 motorhome converted by Camper King. It was our first, shall we say, dip our toe in the water with van life, and we absolutely loved it. Now, of course, when we purchased that van, put an image in the video about there, we didn't purchase it thinking that we would be then selling it within a year to buy this motorhome. But what we found out relatively quickly is that although it's nice when you go on to, let's say, fully serviced campsites where they've got obviously nice facilities, etc., although it's nice that you can use their facilities and you've paid for those facilities, the reality is it is even nicer if you have a bathroom actually in your van. And of course, with a sub 5 metre transporter, it's asking a lot to give you enough space to give you a bathroom. Yes, we had a porta potty, but it's just not really quite the same, folks. So the bathroom was definitely the main selling point that moved us towards buying this motorhome. For those of you that have a camper van, folks, we did love our camper van. It was an absolutely fantastic piece of kit, and of course it's even more practical because you can use it as a daily vehicle. But for us, we decided we wanted a bathroom. Now, there's some points about our bathroom that we really do love, and a little one that we're not so keen on, but we'll discuss that in a second. Number 1, it's at the back of the van. Now, why is that relevant, you may ask? We prefer having the bathroom at the back of the van, primarily because, as we'll see in a bit on another point that we've got listed for why we love this van, it gives more space, because obviously if the bathroom's at the side of the van, you are reducing the width of the van where the bathroom area is. It also means that it's sitting closer to the habitation area, which I'm not a fan of, because at the end of the day, it's a bathroom. And I think the main point for us is that the toilet and the shower is not in the same cubicle. We like the fact it's got a separate toilet. So when we have a shower in this van, we're not having to then mop down or dry down the toilet, because of course the shower is effectively running over the toilet. It is a proper little bathroom. Another worthy of note would be that the sink is of a sensible size. I have seen some really stylish but narrow sinks in some motorhomes, some bigger motorhomes in fact, where you look and you think, well, I'm not going to successfully wash my face in that sink. Whereas with our sink, if you consider the size of the van overall, it's a very decent sink. I think the only point which I've mentioned in 2 videos before about our bathroom that we would have preferred to have been different is the fact that the shower cubicle isn't white plastic all the way around. And as I'll put in a little inset now yet again, there is a wood panel at the back or the one side of the shower. Does that bother us? No, it doesn't really. So why are we mentioning it? It's a popular question that we receive on this channel. And it's also a popular question that's discussed in the Roller Team forum that we're part of on Facebook. For me, I just convinced myself that Roller Team know what they're doing. They know that that panel is in the shower, and I'm going to assume it's some kind of marine grade wood. But either way, I've not read any problems that anybody has had with the shower with the wood showing, and we certainly haven't had any problems with the panel with the wood showing. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that that's how it stays. I think aesthetically it would have looked nicer if it was white all the way around, but we love the bathroom in our motorhome. The second one is lights. Now, although today the van's a bit dim because I don't want to put any pressure on our leisure battery, it is charging relatively nicely with the solar panel on the roof, but of course we're in winter time, so it's not charging as much as it would in the summer. So I'm not going to put the lights on in the van today, but I'll put a little video inset of all the lights. There are lights absolutely everywhere in this van, folks. You can light it up like a Christmas tree. I have a feeling that if we ever go and visit the Blackpool lights, it might just outdo the Blackpool lights. But joking aside, it's lovely. And of course, each light is individually controlled. You can have as few or as many on as you like. I think the only thing I would say is that's lacking with all these lights in our motorhome is that there is no dedicated reading lamp that is adjustable. In many motorhomes, I see a reading lamp that you can move around and position wherever you want, wherever you're reading, basically. But that aside, we love the lights in our van. The next one is the heating. So in our van, we have a 6 kilowatt Truma heating system. Some roller team vans have a 4 kilowatt. Ours, I think it's because it's T-line, has a 6 kilowatt, and the output is fantastic. That's all I can really say. It'll run off gas, of course. It will also run off the electric hookup if you're on a campsite, or it'll run on a combination of both. There are loads of heating outlets in this van, and I'll show you where those are now on a little inset video. And there's a lot of ventilation around the van as well. And it just does a really good job of heating up the van. It's very flexible. And if we wanted to, we could put a SIM card into the unit and then basically communicate with the unit when we're away from the van. So you could heat up the van before you got back to the vehicle. So you could heat up the van before you got back to the vehicle. So you could heat up the van before you come back to the van. We love the heater. Now our camper van did have a very good Webasto diesel heater, and it ran off the diesel tank. Now what I liked about that, of course, can you hear the rain starting? What I liked about the diesel heater being fed off the diesel tank is you never had to worry about it running out, providing, of course, when you pulled up on site, you knew there was a sufficient amount of diesel in the tank. In case you're wondering, the wife is sitting at home with the kids while I'm sitting in here in the van, because it doesn't feel right in the current climate for all of us to be travelling about. So it is literally just you and me, folks, today. So the next one we're going to discuss, folks, is the driving position. In my early life, I used to drive a van. Ironically, as I'm getting through my midlife, I'm now driving a van effectively again. But what a van affords is a very elevated driving position, and what that means is you've got excellent visibility all around. In fact, you sit higher than those folks that are in Range Rovers, and I think that disappoints some of the Range Rover folks, to be honest, when you look down at them. But anyway, I don't think they're used to being looked down upon. But that aside, it just is a very comfortable place to be, and it just affords excellent visibility. So we do love the driving position that you get in a motorhome. Number 5 is the fridge. It's a 141 litre fridge, and we found for a family of 2 adults and 2 children, it is absolutely up to the task of looking after our needs. And another thing I like about the fridge is, like most motorhome fridges, it will run off the battery when the engine is running. It's very important that I say only when you're driving the vehicle, so in other words when the engine is running. It can then run, of course, off the electric hookup if you're at a campsite and you're plugged into the electric, and it can run off the gas. What we really like about our motorhome, what we really like about our fridge is you don't have to set where you want the power source to come from. You can set it to auto and forget about it. So when we come to our storage site here and we get to the van, the first thing we do is we turn the gas on, we get the fridge running, we get all the van packed up, and then when we drive off, we know that the fridge is running off the engine. When we pull up at the campsite, we know when we turn the engine off that the fridge will start running off the gas. When we then plug it into the electric, we know it will start running off the electric. Basically, we don't need to think about the fridge knows what it's doing, it sorts it out for you. I think that's a nice touch. Some fridges in motorhomes need you to tell it what power source you want it to use, and I appreciate that's not difficult to do, but it's something that you may forget to do. We can forget about the fridge and just let it do what it needs to do, so we love that. Number 6, folks, is something we loved about the motorhome even before we purchased it. We have found a little niggle with it, however, but we'll discuss that in a second. It's fly nets. If you ignore the Fiat Ducato cab area, which of course is a Fiat Ducato van, the remainder, the rest of the windows in this van, including obviously skylights, side windows, and even the habitation door, have fly nets that you can pull across, and they're absolutely excellent. The fact that they're integral with the glass, the fact that they're integral with the frame of the window and obviously the door is lovely. We love the fact that when we pull up on a hot day, we can have all the windows open, but we can put all the fly nets shut. And I'm not a fan of flies being in the van at the best of times, so I was really pleased that the van came with that. However, there is a slight issue with a couple of them. We've noticed, because you only notice these things, folks, when you're actually using the van, that as nice as the fly nets look, the habitation door and the skylight above the kitchen, the flies can still get in. Why, you ask, can the flies still get in? Well, they get in because Roller Team haven't sealed around the frame that holds the fly net around the hab door, or the frame that holds around the frame that holds the window in the roof above the kitchen. And what this means is the fly net, because that's lower than where the frame touches the body of the vehicle, there is a gap, which if you think about it at night is an illuminated gap, because you've probably got lights on in the motorhome. The flies love the light, and they easily find a way through. And the first couple of nights we stayed in Dorset, which was really hot in Dorset, it was lovely, but it was really hot when we stayed there. We couldn't really get cool in the van at all. I think that needs to be in a video for top 10 things we don't like about this van. In fact, I know it is in a video, and it'll be after this one. We've realised very quickly that the flies can get through, and we were swatting them like you wouldn't believe. So what we will be getting round to doing before we go out in our van in the summer is putting a bit of flexible silicone around the frames that hold these in. Quite why Roller Team do not do that, I do not know. We don't have that issue with the other windows in the van, but we do have it with the skylight above the kitchen and the hab door. It's just something you need to be aware of, because yours will probably be the same. Number 7. We love the 9-speed automatic gearbox in this van. Now, we deliberately chose that gearbox. I say deliberately because it ended up being over £3,000 option, as discussed in a previous video, because you have to first upgrade the output of the engine and then you have to pay for the automatic gearbox. Now, on earlier Ducatos, the gearbox I think was called Comfortmatic, which effectively meant it was a manual gearbox in reality, but with an automatic clutch. This is a full-on proper 9-speed automatic gearbox, and it is absolutely silky smooth and a joy to drive. I always believe personally that if you've got a bigger vehicle, it just feels so nice to have an automatic gearbox where you can just basically be lazy, put both armrests down, sit there, place it into drive and go. We love it. Well worth the investment. Number 8 is the look of our van. Now, I appreciate, folks, that a motorhome's most important job is to serve its purpose as a motorhome, but one of the first things that appealed to us about the Roller Team T-Line motorhomes is the design. The design of the 2020, and so far they carried it along onto the 2021 model, we think is absolutely lovely. We love the dark metallic grey on the Fiat Ducato cab, and we love all the light silver flashes that go along the side of the van, albeit we got one that's got a scratch on it at the moment, which has cost me £18 plus VAT to replace. But needless to say, we love the look of our van. Number 9, folks, is the weight of the van. As you probably already know, folks, unless you're old like me, there is a requirement that from the 1st of January 1997 that you would have to have a C1 driving licence if the vehicle is over 3,500 kilos. The Roller Team 590T, unlike many motorhomes, because motorhome manufacturers are not daft, they need to appeal to as many customers as possible, weighs in at 2,888 kilograms, although ours, being the automatic, weighs in at 2,921 kilos. But what that means is, even when you put your luggage in and yourselves, that you should fall. I say should because of course you can always overload your vehicle. Might do something about that in a future video. But you should be within the 3,500 kilogram limit. So whilst I would be permitted to drive any vehicle anyway, what this means is that the weight of this vehicle would be no problem for my wife to drive, because my wife passed the test after 1997. She's yet to drive the van, but it would mean that she would be able to without taking a C1 driving licence. So number 10, and the final item that we will say that we love about our motorhome in today's video, folks. I'm sure there's little other items that we like, but these are the most important. It's the feeling of space. And second only to the bathroom that we discussed earlier, the feeling of space in this van with the layout, and because the bathroom is at the back of the van, is absolutely fantastic. And I think the reason we keep reminding ourselves and saying on video that this is a sub 6 metre van, it's 5.97 metres long, is because you forget just how small the van really is. It is such TARDIS-like, to use a well-worn phrase, that we just simply can't believe it. It is a really comfortable place to be. We have found when we've been away on holiday that we can all sit in comfort. All four of us can put our feet up because of course the captain's chair's spin around, and we just feel like it's a lovely place to be. The kitchen of course is separate to the lounge area, which you would expect it to be because it's a motorhome, so why would you not have a separate kitchen to the lounge area? And we have a splendid bathroom which is separate to that. So all in all, it makes for a very comfortable place to be. So that's it folks for this video. That's the top 10 things that we absolutely love about our motorhome, with a couple of niggles as well of course. We really do genuinely hope you found this video informative. As always, if you did, please consider hitting the like button, and if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please consider clicking the subscribe link, which will be at the end of this video. We really do appreciate it. We value your support, and it's free to subscribe. Come along with us on our journey with our motorhome. See you soon.